1.5, almost bigger than Switch Science, almost similar as the Make Block. Very successful startup in Shanghai. And Rachel Zhang is the charge for the marketing and overseas sales and also the corporate management. Previously, she has worked with a consulting company in China. That's the reason why her experience and her passion, and also why her working in the company in China, Shanghai makers company. In this experience and insight is very useful for the student will be MBA. Please start your talking, Rachel Zhang. And in the question free, in the chat in Japanese already, and okay, and speak English also okay. Yeah, よろしくお願いします、Rachel. Please speak. Okay, please start to talk, Rachel.
Okay. 皆さんこんにちは。
こんにちは。
こんにちは。So I'm very grateful that Tom actually invited me to this session.
My pleasure. My pleasure. My pleasure.
I can hear some echo. Is it possible to some of the? Oh, okay. Now it's okay. Yes. So today I most likely wanted to share about my own stories, not like a speech or a lecture, but I just wanted to share my own experience to give you a real experience about what it's like to work in a startup and what it's like to work in Shanghai, China, and why I kind of switched my career completely upside down. First of all, I want to talk a little bit about my hometown, Shanghai. I actually grew in a small area in Shanghai that's called Songjiang. I also saw this place when I look into the map in Japan. So I'm very happy that, yes, Songjiang area, yes. So I think Shanghai is a city where actually every culture and every culture can actually blend in, because previously it was just a fishing town and a lot of the culture is from the outside. So that's why we enjoy life a lot. So we don't work, but we work to enjoy life. So that's why some people, there's a news in China that normally when girls are together, we talk about rumors, we talk about, how to say, boys or something. But in Shenzhen, most of the girls, they group together, they only talk about how to get money. But in Shanghai, girls would talk about, okay, where is the closest good restaurant, and how do you enjoy life, and how can we plant, for example, flowers, like back there, some flowers, and how do you enjoy life? So that's why when I first enter into my first job position in PwC, PricewaterhouseCoopers, which is a finance consulting company, I feel a little bit uncomfortable because I work all the time. So I still remember that I only have one afternoon free, but most of the other time still working overtime. And every day is 11 o'clock, I catch the last subway back home. Of course, I learn a lot and I earn a lot of money, but I just feel like there's something missing in my life. Not just my career, but in a life kind of perspective. So that's why I kind of left this job for like after 5 years. But I still don't know what I should do, because our education system just teach you the techniques and okay, this is mathematics, this is Chinese, blah, blah, blah. but it never actually leads you the way to find out, okay, what do you want to do, who you are, and what is your value in a lifetime. So even though I know this is not the job I want to do, I don't know where to go. So what I do is I think back, okay, apart from my job, what did I do? What are the things that I feel excited about or I feel happy about? So I think about the days when I was sort of like an ambassador for corporate social responsibility. Uh, Abbreviation is CSR. So I will talk about CSR a lot. That means corporate social responsibility. That means, for example, I go to homeless NGOs that will care about the homeless people, and also like the children, when we actually give them lectures about what it actually means to be a consultant, what it actually means to be a finance people, that sort of things. So that's why I left the company and do like CSR consulting, sort of like a charity area. So that's if that's an industry, then it's a charity area, let's say. And I'm very lucky. One of my one of my client back then, 5 years ago, was Alibaba and Alipay. So I was there, like really working inside of that company, like based in Hangzhou, for half a year. So what I was doing over there was helping them to find out like their social responsibility areas and helping them to do some reports, like documenting what they actually do to provide social values, and what are the areas that they could actually be more contributing to the society, blah, 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 that type of consulting services. So I was very lucky to be able to talk to, I think 40 to 50 of their management people, like in different departments, because we want to understand, okay, what do you do and what are the values that you value the most? So during that interview time, some of the stories that I wanted to share is, first of all, normally when we do the consulting, we find out the company structure first. Okay, like manufacturing department, and this is what business department, finance department. But when I asked them, they said, we don't have that company structure thing. Nobody, not even Jack Ma, they have the company structure, because every day we are changing. We will have a new business division like next day or in the next week. So nobody can draw that thing. So what I can do is right now, what department we have, I provide you with a list, but yeah, nobody can do that. And also the second thing I'm very impressed about is inside our company, they have a forum, like a BBS, like everyone can type and shoot things. I'm very surprising that they actually recruit internally on that forum. So once upon a time, I saw, a post that's saying, okay, we wanted to do a new product that's called blah, 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 blah. And we want one software engineer and one structure engineer and something like that. So if who is interested, then we want 2 hours of your weekly time, and then you're in my team. And I was like, well, that's very new. That's very innovative, that I've never seen in my previous company and previous experience. And what interests more is that every single, like 40 of those management people, every single one of them, when I talk to them, I said, I ask the same questions all the time, like a list of 10 questions that's the same. So one of them I ask, what do you think the thing that you have done or Alibaba have done is of the social value? And they would say, I think every day And every piece of work that I do is beneficial to the society. Like we're helping people to do their business. We are helping like this business to be done. And we are also helping, for example, the farmers that can sell their fruit to be delivered to the people that actually need the fruit. So we are not doing that because we're donating the money. We're doing this because of this is who we are. And that really kind of shocked me or shaked me, like waking up, try to think about, okay, what I wanted to do. And like, is this like the charity thing really my passion, or this is really something that I wanted to do? Until I saw this. Like, if you know that this is a QR code that in China, when we pay things, we actually never have wallets anymore. We only have the phone. And if you beep the phone on the QR code and your money is taken. And I saw this prototype in a Lawson convenience store 5 years ago when they were doing the beta version. And I was, after this beep, my money was taken. I still remember it's 5 RMB, a bottle of water. And then suddenly I realized that if I really wanted to kind of provide a bit of social value, or kind of wanted to change a little bit, or make my surroundings, not the world, but make my surroundings a little bit better than before, then I'm just powerless. But technology are very powerful. And this is really a force that can make a change. So that's why, like, in my mind, the only thing that I want to do is that I wanted to join a technology company. So then I was lucky enough to join this company that's called DFRobot. It's this company, actually, how to say, we still call us a startup, but we actually was there for 10 years already. And we have 300 people. We have office, like the headquarters is in Shanghai, and in Chengdu, we have our own factory. And in Beijing, we have a small sales office. So this company actually provide services to 3 types of people. The first one is the makers or developers. I think Takasu-san already told you our maker culture, this type of things. And the second one is the educators. And third one is more advanced products to the industrial side. And if you look into in more details, our products kind of look like this, which is kind of like a half-finished, semi-finished products. The reason is that our CEO is a maker himself. He actually he actually likes to make robots when he was a little child. But he find many of the tools that is not very useful when he actually make the robots. So that's why he provide all those modules and small kits and some platforms and all those structure like 3D printers, so that everyone can make their own robots based on very useful tools. So that is how this whole business was beginning. And also, I want to talk a little bit about Latipenda. So this product is kind of very popular in Japan because of Switch Size and Takasu-san. But I still believe like sales channels is very important, and sales partners in different countries is very important. But innovation on a product is very, very crucial when it comes to a product-driven company. So this product, in my opinion, is kind of cut into a market of Windows users, because previously all those development boards, or SBCs, they are based on Linux users. But because of the IoT era is going on, so everyone is on IoT, but the Windows developers, they don't know how to start. They cannot link to the Linux. They cannot switch completely to Linux and develop everything, but they need a tool. So that's why we kind of developed this whole thing. So I still believe that in our company, innovation on products, and also to really think about what the users they need, what are the needs that they cannot find a solution on the market, is very important for our company in the marketplace. And another thing that I believe very important for this company to grow is the community. Previously, I actually have a talk with Takasu-san and some of the makers about what is a community. Because I work in a business background, so I actually don't very understand about community, where like everyone is you know, like friends, and they just talk about some of the nonsense and, you know, with no outcome at all. But truth be told, they told me that if there's only one word for the community, then it's the contribution. So everyone contributes what they values the most. Everyone contributes what they can do the best. Then this group of people will grow together. And if they share the things that, you know, that they do and all those experience that they have, then this group have just different layers about experience, and they grow even faster. That's why we kind of have the online community and also an offline makerspace where everyone can get their hands on those tools that they can make their things, and they can meet people face to face. And so also we have the Maker Carnival, which is kind of like Maker Fair Tokyo sort of style, but use our own brand, where everyone can kind of showcase what they have done. When we started the business 10 years ago, a lot of the maker projects are in English. So in China, it is really hard for us to, how to say, you know, still we want to do the business. But if we want to introduce this culture into China, we need Chinese projects. We need the content and how to do step by step in Chinese. So that's why we invest this online community. You know, when you start doing community, it's always money loose. you don't get money. You always give out money. But still, we chose to do this because we believe in the long run, this is the right decision to do. And after, I think after 4 years, we are now growing into one of the biggest online content, like project-based, how to do projects step-by-step community. And even our next business, like the education side, one of the some of the key users, they are actually from this community. They are the ones told us, oh, as a teacher, I think this is great. I want to bring it to our students, and let's make it louder. Let's make every educator that they wanted to give it to their students. Let's just spread everything. And that's how actually in China, this wave of maker education or this wave of STEM education, where everything kind of started, is because this community was there. Everyone was there. And every material was there. So they were doing the things that they wanted to do. And step by step, the government realized, okay, there's somebody already doing something and this seems good. So let's just do some policies, blah, blah, blah. So like in my experience, community is very important, but many of the people don't realize the value and sometimes don't know how to do. But this is very, very important in our business, or I believe in many business in the future. So like in short, actually our mission is to empower creation. Like what I said, our CEO, although he likes to make robots, but he also wants to help everyone or help as many people as possible to make their own projects, to create their own things. Not necessarily to be robots, but anything that they wanted to create. So we can provide you with products, we can provide you with tutorials and projects and a community, and really to kind of connect the technology to the real life. Like for example, a lot of the AI technologies, all those like in the research centers that they know, okay, this is a new trend, this is a new thing. But how can I actually apply this to my life? Then like makers, our companies, or like the maker community in a whole, they are the ones that actually see the value of the technology while actually link it to our everyday life. So I truly, how to say, respect them in a way that helps me. I'm a law, my major in university is actually law, international economics law. So I don't have any background in terms of technologies or, you know, those type of things. But I'm very grateful that they actually leads me to see a peak of this world in the future that I can never imagine in a way. Yeah, so yeah, that's why I kind of feel very happy staying in this company. Like I know like in Jack Ma, so Alibaba people, that they wanted to make it easy to do business anywhere, then we kind of wanted to make it easy to create anywhere. Yeah. So talking about a little bit on my role in the company, at the very beginning, I was actually recruited because of my background in the PwC, in a consulting company. So I recruited as a kind of like a investor relationship, you know, a little bit law background and investors, something very, how to say, you need to be very careful and precise, something like this. But after a while, after the projects was done, you know, on the one hand, my time was released a little bit. On the other hand, our CEO and the management would see my personality a little bit too outgoing for the position. So they would think it would be a waste that to keep me at home all the time, to keep me just inside of the company. So they just say, okay, just, you know, you should go to overseas to some of the exhibitions just to see how things would go. So I started like my adventure to travel around the world. I think I traveled to over 20 more different countries because of this job, and in the previous 3 years, I think. Yeah. And at the very beginning, I don't know what I'm doing. So the CEO didn't give me a lot of instructions saying, okay, this is something that you must do, and this is the template and the report that you need to fill out. He just say one sentence. Normally he just say one question or one sentence and saying, you can figure out, what the education system is in UK. And then I go, and then, I also need to learn how to set up a booth, how to make it, the booth very, very appealing to the customers. And I also need to learn how to talk to the visitors, like marketing people, which my background has nothing to do with that. And I still need to talk to them and get information and to understand what is the education system. And also I visit partners like Switch Science to understand, okay, how they actually do their business, what are the needs of them, how we can help better and working together. And I also make a lot of friends in the community, like in the last picture, those two people that sitting in front of the piano. So what I actually was doing was very comprehensive and diversified, that I kind of lost in a way of my value and of who I really am and what I wanted to do, because all those information was overwhelming to me. But I think, the management people and the CEO, they know it all along. They know it from the very beginning about who you are and what are the positions that you might be very good at. But he just wait for me to understand, for me to discover like my true value and make myself really believe in what I need to do, instead of telling you, okay, you do this. But he used the tricky way to kind of create this environment and throw me into that ocean and saying, you swim. And if you survive, then this is the techniques that you learn to swim. And then this thing goes with me all the time. So I really appreciate and how to say this throwing into the ocean experience makes me truly believe my value in the company is that I actually was doing the strategic partnership plus a little bit of research. And my reporting line was directly to the CEO. Like I'm kind of in the like CEO assistant or CEO office sort of role. And I think that is not something that I was organized to do that, but it's something that we co-create together and find out the spot where I actually find I'm most valuable, most comfortable, and really can fulfilling my talents. Because I think when I actually talk to our CEOs and during our annual review, so every year we do the review and saying, okay, what did you do? Okay, what do you want to do next year? And what good things that you done this year? Like normal review. But when I talk to my boss or those people, they would always ask me, okay, throughout this year, all the things that you have done, what are the things that you like to do the most? And what are the things that you want to explore more? So those type of questions really leads me to think, who I really am and what are my strengths. So every year, I think I how to say, evolve. So I become a different version, like robots. Version number 1, version number 2. But every year I understand myself a little bit more. The reason is that my position would always provide me with challenge. So I'm never in my comfort zone. So every year that I'm pushing myself into a new, sometimes it's a new skill, sometimes it's a new industry, sometimes it's a new country. And even though I'm doing strategic partnership or research, for example, last year, because of the COVID-19, I'm actually taking over a little bit of the training program inside of the company. So I actually I design a whole set of research tools and make it more accessible to our product managers. Something that is not just academic, but also I work together alongside with them to finish one single project and to see, okay, this is the methodology, but how can I apply to this specific company? So what is this product manager actually needs? What is hardware company that they wanted to have this user experience? How will they do? What is the most efficient way to do it in this startup? For example, is all of the 5 steps necessary? Or should we just cut off and do only 3 steps? Something like this. And if you ask me, how does it feel to work in a startup? I can share with you some of the, stories that I experienced in the previous years. So because PwC is a very organized and efficient company, so when I first goes into DFRobot, the very first uncomfortableness is that how to say, it's a chaos. so not everyone knows what they do, just like what I don't know what I'm doing at that time. They don't know either. Nobody knows. So the lines, like who is doing what, is very, very blur. These are not very direct lines. These are very blur. And here is the tricky thing. The people that actually setting up the lines, they all left because they cannot stand it. And they are not they are not welcomed by the team. Only the ones that they are willing to blur the lines and doing, okay, I want to help you because you are doing something interesting. Okay, this project, I find it meaningful, so I can do it a little bit more. Only those people that they adapt to this system. At the very beginning, I find it, not very comfortable. But then I realized there's no bad about this. Because of those no lines and no walls, I learn more. And the people in this company, they are open up more. So if I want to know how to do editing about videos, these people, they are willing to do one project together with me. So after 3 months or even 1 month, one single project, quickly I can learn how to edit a film and a video very, very quickly. So I think this is one thing that I find, change my mindset example. And another thing is, so in PwC, because it's a consulting firm, so to be honest, everyone is the same. Because, this is just me, not my perspective. Because you want to provide a standardized service to your clients. So the best product of a consulting company, I think, is the human. So we are actually the very best outcome of this company. But inside of DFRobot, everyone is different. So I'm just shocked that how unorganized some people can be. You know, some people, they are very creative, but after they start one thing, they never finish. And doing projects with them is very painful. But still, you are very amazed by their creativity and how they actually solve the problems. Sometimes, you know, you will find, okay, how can I tear apart this cap? Maybe I should do this and blah, blah, blah. And then she just, let's throw this away. And the problem solved. So I was actually talking a lot with the old employees about how can you actually send all those diversified group of people. They would told me, this is how innovation was born. If you have a diversified team, if you respect everyone's difference and you see the good side of them, then you can have different perspective. Then the solution will be more comprehensive. And then the ideas that you can have is different. And you can actually listen and absorb all kinds of decisions. So this is how creativity and good decisions can be made. So that's why we need everyone to be different. And we will respect that a life of every individual is different. I think that really, how to say, impact my philosophy towards like different people. And there's another thing is because of they share this same philosophy, I think in this startup, when we talk about team or teamwork, you know, every big companies or every company, they talk about teamwork and team building, blah, blah, blah. But inside of this company, team is really a team. I can give you an example is, I actually sometimes is very lazy. I don't like to do the Excel sheets, like filling out the data and let the data, how to say, goes into a system so that all those data can be kept in the system. So I think it's meaningless and I think this is too easy. So I don't want to do this. This is just me. Normally I will just, you know, be hard on myself and saying, why you don't want to do this? You just can't do this. So I'm like, oh no, I'm too bad. And some of the team members maybe will say this, but inside of this company, my team member said, no worries, let's find out ways. This week, let's do 5 entries only. You don't need to finish all 100. This week, 5 only. I didn't finish. And they said, okay, then 3. I finished 3, but next week I still don't finish. But she said, then this week, let's just sit in the meeting room, in the same meeting room. In this 1 hour, you just do this thing. We will not give up on you on anything. So let's do this together. I'm actually very touched. I think the best way about a team is to, how to say, keep company. It is not, yes, it's like we do this together, hand by hand, shoulder by shoulder. No matter what happens, let's find out solutions and let's do this together. If there's something that you cannot do, then I can do this together. So I think this is what a team really means. And I feel very supportive by working in this company that I really find a group of people that I can trust and work together as a team. Yes. So what's more? Let me see. So I think for me, how to say, I actually was a little bit hesitant to make any projects, like making maker projects, because I think I cannot do this, because in my previous education experience would say, don't make any mistakes. And especially in a finance consulting company, you can never make mistakes. So I'm just scared about making any maker projects because you are bound to fail. You definitely will enter into difficulties and you will fail many times. But one day I think I'm ready and I find a team that worked together with me and I created this cap, this cap. So when you actually, this is like a social cap. So when I go to parties or, you know, Takasu-san's Aki parties, I wear this. And when I see one people, then he just tap my head and I will show my feelings to him or her. So sometimes it's like, okay, I'm crying. And sometimes it's, you're so kind and I love with you, something like this. So I created this project, which is a little bit different from many of the robotics projects or IoT projects in my company when the engineers they were doing. So I started thinking, what can I see about myself in this project? So I see, first of all, I'm very social. So when I want to create, I create something that have a connection with human being. And the second, kind of, I want this project to be seen. So I'm very a little bit outgoing. So this is not something that I kept at home. This is something that I go outside with. And so then I realized when you create something, this whole process about thinking, what should I create, is a very good way to train and see who you really are. So then I start to thinking a lot about who I am and what I want to do. So then I try a lot more. Like I become in our annual dinner, this red lady, I become the host that I never tried before. I always have a dream about this, but I tried one time and then I become the host for 5 years already in the company. And I also try to be a workshop facilitator because I know I want to be more connected with human and be more connected to human beings. Also, I want to have a positive impact about how they see life. So that's why I think workshop facilitator is very good for me. I wouldn't say that's a teacher, but I want to facilitate and lead people, try to inspire them to figure out what they wanted to do and what they actually want. And I also, how to say, create a small corner about library inside of the company. And I ask them to donate books. And I host some of the workshops about learning. And this is just a stamp. So we do the stamp ourselves. And then those workshops. And most of all, I also start to realize when I was 6 years old, I always wanted to be an actress, a comedian, because when I told my first joke when I was 6 and everybody laughed and I was like, oh, this is so good. I feel so happy. But then I kind of dropped this dream because of the education system. They say, you should, good score, good work, good life. Comedian is, but when I'm with this group of, when I'm very stabilized with this team, with this work, and also with friends, I think I made a lot of friends doing work, which is, I can never imagine, because in PwC, we say work is work, you should never be friends with your colleagues. You should always keep distance. But in the maker community, I become friends, for example, with Takasu-san. And Takasu-san also introduced his friends to me to become friends. And we even host a drama, like a theater show together. Yeah. Yes. Let's go. Yes. And also with music. And when I'm hosting, yes. Yes. So when I actually start to have many friends, and I start to realize what my dreams was, I think I become more true to myself, and I start to pursue what I really want to do. And this is where, like, how this creation leads to my own innovation. Because I think innovation or creation is something originally of you, of who you are, what you wanted to change, what you wanted to make value. That's something that is deeply inside of you. And that is something that no one can take away. And this is also very powerful. And this type of creation can be very touching to many people. I think all those techniques, skills, opportunities, money, and everything, some people say it is very hard to find. I believe so. But what is more hard to find is something that you wanted to do, is something that is you. So I really grateful that the maker culture, the maker community, and this maker company has given me this opportunity to find out who I really am, not as a career, but also as who I am and what I want to do. I think this is very, very unique, and this is very rare in a lifetime. Not many people have this lucky, how to say, to really touch to the very deepest side of yourself. Many people, they are very fear to face the true side of himself or herself. But through maker culture, through creation, I think I did this. So I want to end my sharing with this picture. So sorry. So this picture is called Earthrise. In America, they have the Apollo projects where they take the human into the moon. So this is a picture from Apollo 8 from the moon. This is a Christmas day. So when they were traveling around the moon, they suddenly see on the horizon of the moon surface, the Earth was rising up. And this is very, very beautiful that they actually took the very first colorful picture of the Earth like in a lifetime. This is the first time. And give it back to the human beings on Earth. And the astronaut who took this picture said one sentence that I feel very connected to. So I wanted to share with you all. And he said that we came all this way to explore the moon. And the most important thing is that we actually discover the Earth. So thank you. Oh, very quiet.
Good. Thank you. Fantastic. Yes. Really fantastic talk. Really fantastic talk. Please asking from the students in English in the chat, okay, and also in Japanese in the text also okay. And 我的活动如果中国人来，他们可以说问题中文吗？对。中国人の人は別に中国語で質問してもらっても大丈夫です。呀，我们有的六个中国人在我们我的。
好的吧？哦，真的呢？啊。
对。呀，真的机会。为什么中国人学习中国的文化从日本的老師？很愉快な。まあこれはこの講義を始めた時からの決めたで、最初の年は、全員日本人の学生だったんですけど、2年目から何人か中国人の学生がジョインしてくれるようになって、で僕他の中国人と一緒に喋る時に、僕が中国のイノベーションを教えてるんだけど、生徒に中国人がいるんだっていう笑いネタを毎年言っているのでまあ受けますよ。今日もレイチェルが喜んでくれたので嬉しいです。が別に国の話は関係なく、彼女の話は働くってなんだろうみたいなすごく広い意味でとても面白いので、ぜひ皆様から活発なご質問をいただけるとありがたいです。もう一個はあれですよね。中国という国全体の勢いでもありますよね。日本の PwC で働いてる人でこういうキャリア歩む人は多分いないですよね。Rachel, I have a question. How was the Spring Festival in Shanghai this year?
I think many of my colleagues, they just decided not to go back to their hometown. So I think Shanghai will be more, how to say, have more people than before. Which is kind of good, because in Shanghai I always think the Spring Festival was never there because we cannot do the fireworks. Yeah, we cannot even do the homing of the car, so it's just quiet. Nothing. So this year, with many people in Shanghai, I think it will be more, more cheerful or something. But because of COVID-19, maybe people will stay at home. I don't know.
Yeah, Shenzhen is a very special because Shenzhen is a very immigrant city. I think 70% Shenzhen people want to back to hometown. But in this year, the COVID-19, almost all people stay in Shenzhen. I stay here Shenzhen. This is my first time Spring Festival in China and also Spring Festival in Shenzhen. And currently I'm still with my friend, other company CEO. He's working in Shenzhen 16 years, but he's in Shenzhen almost first time.
Yes, very special experience. I think
very special experience.
Yeah. This year has many special experience. So
yes. No lockdown. We can do enjoy by ourselves, but no any public event, and also cannot go back to home. Very special.
Yes.
One question from the student. You talk DFRobot's employees are very diverse and company culture looks really chaos. But how they keeping the philosophy each other? How do you think how to make the philosophy and sympathy from the each employee?
I think when I talk about the situation, it was 5 years ago. So 5 years ago, indeed, like the department and the system was not very structured. But in the past few years, I see many, many changes. So, so because of, I think, thanks to COVID-19, so this previous year, we spent a lot of time restructuring internally. So, for example, some of the things, even though previously it was a little bit chaos and some of the people, they just left. But now we have very specific training programs, like in which level you are in, and what are the what are the trainings that you can get, and how can you actually improve to the next level, like the individual growth path is very clear. So this is very important when you actually talk to the employees, is okay, where you are and where you can go. I think this is something that can release the anxiousness, because most of the time people, they feel not very confident or they are very anxious is because they lose their position, like I don't know how to say that, like they lose their position about where they are. So in a company, this is very important, I think, for employees. And the other thing, I think this company can keep many talents as possible, is that really they are using their strength. So I think the CEO is very, very smart. So he can see what position, what thing that you can do well, and also you will enjoy, even though you don't know, but he knows, and he let you to try. And he provides this environment about it's okay to fail. It's okay to make mistakes. We can wait you for a little bit longer. So not like forever wait, but we can wait a little bit for you to realize and for you to recognize, your position, and then you can go more. Yeah.
Good. Yes. In this, little bit waiting is the most of important. The first step, almost all first step is a fail.
Yes. And
All
I think
first step is a fail.
yes, I think he sometimes when I talk to him, he would say, you have to always ask many, many questions to reach the essence about, like the very foundation about certain things. So like one single waiting here or one mistake here at like the present will not impact the full picture, will not impact the future, because he knows how everything will goes and how everything will evolve. So it doesn't really matter. So this tolerance and this stabilization about this company will make every individual kind of safe, because you know that, okay, this is going somewhere very stabilized. So what I can do is doing my part. And if I fail a little bit, still this big ship is going there.
Yeah, good answer. How do you think you afraid of the wealth going down from the PwC because of PwC is a more high wage than your other company.
Yes. I think the most painful times is like I think this year I meet some of my previous colleagues, and then even though I don't know how much they earn, I know that I only earn almost half of their wage. I think not maybe not even half. I think, but it really how to say. I think it's also from my value, my value towards life. Yes, my parents is very supportive. When I quit the job from PwC and enter into the CSR consulting firm, I think I half cut my wage. So I didn't go up, but cut. Yes, but they support me, and also I know that life is a how to say it's an overall experience.
Yes.
It's not just money, but it has
Yes.
like teamwork, friends, your life and your hobby. So in my philosophy, I think first of all, the people that work with me is very, very important. I cannot stand to work with like a team that don't have many ethics or ethical problems, something like this, and they are always very not very kind to each other. Then like how much money you gave me, I will never stand within this environment, because I believe we are humans, or create how to say even in a plant, because I grow plants. For plants, the most important part is the environment. Water, humidity, sunshine, blah, blah, blah. So if you are a seed, then better you are in a good environment.
Yes.
So I think environment is very, very crucial to me. This is something that I understand deeply in my value. And then about the money, yeah, I should earn something that don't really kill my happiness about life. Then it is okay for me. But it varies with different people. I think it's just me. So I know what is most important to me.
Okay. Other one question from the Professor Maki Kanetaka. He's he producing whole of my lecture 50 times. He also the professor of the University of California.
Right. So thank you very much. My name is Kanetaka Maki, and I'm an associate professor here at Waseda Business School. And your talk was very impressive. Thank you very much. And I thought, a few things. One is I know your experience communicating with the Japanese people is limited. Not that much, right? But like you met with Takasan's group for the mixers. How do you observe Japanese people as how they work compared to what you say? Because what you have been saying is pretty much very similar to, I would say, the US culture, like a California culture, which is opposite from Japanese culture. So, I just wanted to know your honest impression to Japanese people, how they work. Because, some people in California said Japanese people, like a salaryman, is a slavery system almost. Because, how do you feel that?
Professor Maki, I do some explain before the Rachel's answer. Rachel have many Japanese friends, but I guess over 80% of Japanese friend is my friend.
Yeah, that's very biased, right?
I think Japanese is Takasu and Takasu's friend.
Okay. Yeah, that's
Okay, please answer. Please answer from Rachel.
Mm. And my impression is Takasu and Takasu's friends and some of the TV shows that I can see in China most of the time. Mm, I think I really like the part in Japanese culture where everything is very organized. So I can always feel safe. If I travel to Japan, I know when the bus can come and the convenience store will always be there. The service is like always reached to the standard. So I feel very safe about this. But in terms of individuals, I talked to some of the Chinese students because we hired interpreters at our booth. Yes, yes. They would say that it is a little bit hard for them to feel happy. But I don't know if maybe it's just them or somebody. They would say because the structure is so organized, so they cannot shake any part of it. So they feel powerless. So they feel powerless. This same feeling will exist when I work in PwC, actually. Yes, so I can connect and relate to this feeling. Sometimes as a society or as a company, this is very efficient and this is very good. But as human being, like individuals, let's say every individual, it's very hard to say which one is better. In PwC, actually, I learned a lot of techniques. I was trained, like the presentation skills is very good. The project management skills are very good. Time management, like all those fancy words and all those fancy techniques you can name. In 2 years, you can actually reach to a point, this intensive training and on-job training. I think this is very good for individual to grow. But after that, what's next?
I see.
Yes, that is part of my thinking. But a lot of my previous colleagues, they think it's okay. They adapt to that. But me, just I I feel like I'm not that type of person. So yeah.
So this is a really related question. So like based on your experience, when you compare the cultures among China, US, and Japan, as far as you know,
Yeah.
which one has most freedom of life? Because I think I often ask this kind of question, and I feel like this is changing and changing, and it's
Yes.
fascinating always.
Yes.
What do you think?
I think before COVID-19.
Okay, so that was the
Yeah, that was
interesting point.
I think that was the very critical time. I think not even for country to country, but also for us. It's a historical. I think it's a
Yeah,
historical.
yeah.
So before that, definitely, I think US has more freedom. Not because, you know, before that I don't have the critical thinking. So I'm in my education system. I don't criticize a lot of things. What I take is what I take. So in the news or maybe the US people, they can blah 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 more, and they make more sense, and they have more advertising skills. Which
Right.
if I go to their museums, how they actually introduce their history, I can even feel okay. This is a great nation. So I think this is something very powerful to incept this thing into your mind. But after a while, I feel like perhaps it's not the case, but it's just the way they express it, make it more believing.
Right. I see.
Um,
Interesting. That's very interesting.
that's yeah, yeah. Please.
Because I feel like sometimes US is good at pretending they have a freedom, and it's not real freedom. And yes, China has some restriction towards freedom. However, those freedoms are, I mean, those restrictions are not that critical. So what I mean is many of the Chinese people start to say China has more freedom than the US. I think that is one of the very interesting, honest opinion of
Mm.
Chinese people right now. Don't you think so? Maybe I'm,
It,
I'm,
it is
you know,
it is the case, but it is changing only over the 5 years, I think.
these 5 years, right?
Yes, in the late 5 years. Before
Uh,
that, even for me, I feel like I should, if I have a chance, I should live abroad. I don't
uh,
want to live in China,
uh,
because
okay.
even the reason why is um, the people that they write articles, the what you call it, writers, or the people that have more knowledge, that they are very capable of thinking. They think like the foreign, like the US or the European civilization is superior to us. They think what we experience and what this government was doing was just nothing. So
Mm,
this type of thing was actually in our mindset when we grow up. So everyone wants to send their children to study abroad and never come back. It is
mm,
the case when I choose my job about, and everyone wants to go to international companies in my time. So that's why I chose PricewaterhouseCoopers and other people. So in this case, but in the past 5 years, I don't know. It's because Alibaba or some of the companies they grow stronger, or at a certain stage, people tend to think about their roots, about still the position, about who you are, where you're from, how this whole thing was grow into. And then they started to realize what we have is already a lot. We don't need to really think about, okay, we are very small and others are very strong, but we have our power in a way. And the young people, and part of the reason is the old people, they really suffer from the bad experience of Chinese history, the recent history of Chinese society. They are poor and they don't have resources and they were killed because their knowledge. So they don't trust the government. But the young people, they never suffer from this.
ah,
When they grow up, it's a bright future. It's everything is so good. And this society is good, and the environment is getting better, and everything is pop, 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 pop. So that's why they tend to believe.
interesting. That's very consistent with my observation because I sometimes supervise undergrad student, Japanese undergrad student who was studying in China as an exchange student, and they often say China is has much more freedom than Japan is. So and those younger generations really captures the what's happening in China right now, I think. And so younger generation has, and the older generation is quite different, right, in China still in that sense, I
Mm,
guess. But
yes.
yeah, your explanation does make sense to me very much, and and that's very exciting about China right now, I think. Younger generation feels that.
So personally, I think so, because this generation also will push us to learn more and to grow together with
uh,
them.
uh,
Otherwise, otherwise you will be like, the future will be always changing. This is definitely the case because of the technology, because of this time of the history. I think it's time of the history. So no matter what, we have to kind of beta version one, beta version two. So it is very hard to kind of break your own system and live into a new system. But I believe that that's something that inevitable. Just me. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Your answer is fascinating. Thank you very much. I will ask Takashi-san to go to the next questions. Thank you very much. Yes.
It's more other one example. How do you think, Rachel? In this morning, I will bring my camera and gimbal, bring to the Huachanpe History Museum, and going out on some Huachanpe building and Huachanpe Museum, and explain about the history of Huachanpe in the museum on live and in the gimbal and smartphone in Bilibili. How do you think? How do you think, Rachel?
This is fascinating because I really like how to say Takasu-san always because before Takasu-san I think PR or introducing things are reporters, so they have to have a certification, they have to have an education. So not everyone can do this, but Takasu-san give me this power to see, okay, everyone can actually record and everyone's opinion and everyone's perspective can be respected. I think it is not Bilibili do this, not TikTok do this, but Takasu-san's like one single human being, you are there and make me believe, okay, even though I'm nobody, but I can share. I can still inspire and I can still live like this story. Every story can be told. Yes. So Takasu-san, please go.
Yeah. How do you think the Maki Sensei? I could bring own camera and own smartphone to go the exploratorium on live and going to the street in California freely, or bring my smartphone and camera to go the Japanese National Museum and walk on the street and eating the food on the street. Which city is the most of freedom? This is a very good example in these three cities. その今日の午前中の最後の授業を僕、スマホ持って、博物館に行って、博物館は今予約限定だから博物館に入るっていう予約はしたんだけど、無論放送は何の許可も取ってないし、当然ご飯屋さん入る時とか店の中で人の前通っていく時とか、さっきのセキュリティ取るスタッフとかもカメラを思いっきり回し回しで観光コード見せろとか言ってたんだけど、どうでしょう、あれ他の街でできるかな。
なんか日本だと警備員に捕まりそうですよね。間違いなくて。
でかつ私の中国語かなり怪しいですからね。
なるほど、ね。
それがだから外人ができるの結構すごいところだな、全然と思って。あ
となんかアメリカだとなんか放映料払えってなんか請求書がしてきそうですね。
そうとかなんだろう、さっきのしかも昼飯食べたら2ドルの3ドルの店だから、アメリカで言うとだから1ドルピザの店とかで写真撮ると客が絶対に来ると思うんだよね。高い店ならいいんだけど、アメリカの1ドルピザの店とか客も全員怖いじゃないですか。
危ないですね。治安が悪いと思います。
みたいなのがあるので、みんなが思う自由、もちろんそれがそんなにものすごいわけじゃないんだけれども、シェンゼンのフリーダム先がそこは一個つながってる気がしますけどね。だってあれやって僕、もちろんみんなは真似しちゃダメです。ジャパニーズアホ YouTuber が本当にやってはいけないことをやって捕まってる事例はそれなりにたくさんあります。なので、分かってる人以外はやらない方がいいんですが、分かってる人、中国それなりに知ってる人にとっては、今日の僕の行動は別に僕はヒヤヒヤしながらやってるわけではありません。まあできるだろうと思ってやってます。
あれなんですよ、
ね。I explain for the Rachel, yes, because I bring the camera and I work on the Huachanpe. When I'm in Japan, I think I burn from the system within 5 minutes. From the museum or from school or from, and when I'm in US, I'm going to the very local food like $1 pizza. I think $1 pizza restaurant, $1 pizza customer is don't shoot us, don't take the video in this rooms, don't take the video in this downtown street. Also, I cannot take the video freely. But in China, Shenzhen, probably okay. Almost all places.
Yes, yes. This is also sometimes. Yes, I think this is also about history because in China, I think in Europe and US, they have a time where they have some history things. So they think like the right of the face is very important. But in China, we never, we, never, we were never on the face saying, okay, there's something bad already happened. So we were just growing and then say, okay, let's grow. Growing is the most important part. Because we were left behind for so long. So growing is the first policy against all the other problems. I think this is what the government was set, that, in my opinion.
なんかそのちょっと日本語でコメントしますが、自由っていう概念で何が大事かっていうのが多分インターネットのこと前でかなり変わっているし、なんかこう、例えば日本人が中国を見たときに自由じゃない国っていうパーセプションを持っているのは、古い価値観での自由さみたいなことしか見えてない人たちなような気もして、今やっぱり世界で最も自由な国の一つは、多分今の時代の価値観において、多分インターネット後の世界においての一つは中国なんだろうなって感じることは結構ありますね。なんかそのだからやっぱりそれは自分がキャリアとして作っていく、自分が本当に大事にしている価値観を実現するための自由さなのかどうかっていうところで、それが多分かなり昔と今で違うのかなって議論してて思いました。
そうですね。中国、シンガポール、マレーシアあたり以外、台湾あたり以外の先進国、つまりヨーロッパ、アメリカでやると、撮影をするなっていう怒られ方をする気がするし、日本だとレギュレーションっていうか許可取ったのかっていう怒られ方をする気がするし、他の国だとなんかスマホ盗まれそうで嫌ですよね。どれも自由を阻害するので、中国はそれが3つともない珍しい場所ではありますね。でも微妙に敏感に取っちゃいけないものはあるんですよ。そこは注意する必要があるんですけど、でもそれもまあでも言うてもそういうものってパッと見分かりやすいですけども、一気にグンって書いてあるとかなんか
でもそれはアメリカも一緒ですよね。アメリカでも軍事訓練で捕まりますからね、分かりやすくね。
中国の真に恐ろしいところは本当に全く何にも悪いことやってないんだけど、よしこの辺で日本人3人捕まえようみたいなことが政治的にあることです。誰でもいいんだけどみたいな、なんかいうのがあることです。もうどうしようもない。しかもそれがアメリカにないとも俺は思わない。ファーウェイの件とか見ると、ファーウェイ絶対悪くない。シャオミもいきなり捕まえ始めたけど、シャオミ絶対悪くない。あれはもうなんか、よし、とりあえず中国の会社3つぐらい捕まえようみたいな、判断でやってるとしか思えない。まあいいや、その話はちょっと元に戻して、もう一個質問来てますね。はい、山崎さん、You can asking to Rachel。
僕ですか？
大野さん。
はい、すいません。Thank you, Rachel. Very interesting story. My question is about the performance measurement. How does your company measure employees' achievement when you consider, promotion or bonus or whatever? I think standard practice in large-size companies would be to measure like successful achievement against the goals established in the beginning of the year. And I think which would make employees feel afraid of making failures. But how do you encourage making good failures?
Yes. So actually in our company, we actually not only value them with KPI, but also with OKR, objective key results. We started to adopt this, I think 2 years ago, starting with the management level. So all the managers, they need to create this. So at the very beginning, the KPIs was only given to the by department. So they were given by department. Only the department people, they will have a specific KPI, through discussion. it's not given to you, but through discussion, we all know why, for example, sales department, you need to have this sales numbers for the education channels and for the overseas channels. This is all based on discussion. And then within the department, every single one of them, they will have two things. First of all, they will have the OKR system. So they basically set up those goals themselves. Then it's okay to fail because I set this, maybe I set too high, maybe I set too low. And throughout 1 year, I think only through 1 year's practice, they will know their position again. So they can correct themselves like organically. We just have to give them a little bit of time. And then like OKR is one part, KPI is one part. And we also have one part that is through like discussion, because every year we will have the review. So during the review, we will review two parts, which is very like personal, how to say, it's not very strict numbers, but my personal impression. On the one side is the skill sets that you actually grow. So we have a chart where every department, you have a list of basic skill sets and your specific professional skill sets. So whether you actually grow to a certain level, if you can actually give one example to me, then I know, okay, you actually grow. So this part gives this individual an opportunity to say, oh, this year I cannot fulfill my KPI because of COVID-19, but I did these things and I grow in terms of growth. Then I could actually, as a manager, I can think about, okay, what are the criteria that I could give you extra, how to say, to make you kind of also see you valuable in the long run to the company. But this is most likely varying from department to department. I think the sales department, they are very strict on KPIs, but for marketing or my department or product manager department, they tend to be more comprehensive, not just the KPI.
I see. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah,
yeah.
Yes. The time is the time is limited until 1:30 in China. Maybe next question is the last one. Do you have some question? Hmm. 特にないかな。女性から何かあったりしますか?
Can I ask one question?
Yes.
Thank you, Rachel-san. Very inspiring speech. So a very short question. What do you think of your next career step? Do you want to work in DFRobot forever, or do you want to start a new business on your own or something?
First of all, I think working in this company is really happy for me, and I haven't really, to be honest, I know I need several years to grow. I still know I have certain abilities that I want to grow, and I want to grow in this environment. So like in 3 years time, I think 2 to 3 years time, I'll definitely be inside of this company. And then the next step most likely would be, I would try to have my own kind of business model or whatever, because in my role, normally in the CEO office, like those people, like the career path would be after several years of training and like those type of things, and they will be given an opportunity to run a division or run a business on their own. So normally it would be like that. So it depends on whether this opportunity will be given to me sooner, or I find out my true, like something that I'm diving to change, or something that I'm diving to do. If I didn't find it, this motivation, then I would just, I can actually be here. But if I just have this passion and have this motivation, then I'll do this. But till then, I think this is a good environment for me to kind of experience the real-time MBA. Yeah, a little bit like a real-time MBA course in this company. I think, to be honest, I'm very lucky. So you cannot see DFRobot as every individual is as happy as I am, to be honest. Yeah, I'm really, I think I'm the lucky one. So yeah.
Thank you so much. You encouraged me so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel. Your homes looks better than last year.
Yes,
better.
Yes.
Decoration. Yeah, you will well organized your own rooms. Fantastic.
Yes, thank you.
I just 我现在搬家了，我的新的房子里在福建。这个我很喜欢的，很喜欢的房子。我买东西，我很打扫的我的房子。下次进来我房子，我一起喝茶水。
好的，好的。
僕ちょっと今一瞬引っ越しっていう語に変わるって何が言ったかっていうと、僕も最近深セン市内で引っ越しをして、で新しいアパート僕すごい気に入ってて、家具いっぱい買ったり、お茶の道具揃えたりしたので、今度遊びに来てねってことを言いました。どうもありがとうございました。Okay, thank you, Rachel. Hope to see you soon.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.